Hello and welcome to our Midweek podcast. My name is Jerry Hendricks, and guess who this is?
T. Hamilton.
I didn't mean for you to guess.
Yeah, but nobody would have responded out loud.
That's true. Anyways, if you're watching along with Facebook Live, we would love it if you would chat with us a bit. Let us know that you're watching, share it, be a part of this fun conversation we're going to have on a Wednesday morning. We're a little bit later than normal, but it's been an interesting week around here.
Yes, it has.
For one, we're not used to having this guy around.
1 week I was gone.
No, it's the third week in a row you've been gone.
Well, you were gone with me one of those weeks.
True, but I know everyone else missed you.
I'm sure.
We've been hit and miss a little bit with our podcast this summer towards the tail end of that, but we're back on track. We should be able to come to you regularly, and I know that we're looking forward to that as we turn the corner and enter into the fall semester. When you think about all the stuff that goes on this fall, Teak, what's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing of the fall, Advent.
Okay, that jumped way ahead.
You said favorite of the fall. Is that winter?
No, I think
so. Then I can jump back to Thanksgiving if needed.
I think you got me there.
Okay. I like Thanksgiving too.
It was well played, and but anyways, I was thinking like something like cross country.
Yeah, I never would have come to that one.
Okay, just so you know, on Sunday I used yet one more running illustration. I think that's all of the running illustrations that I have.
Okay.
I'm done with that.
That's good.
But anyway, cross country starting up, football starting up, volleyball's been going on.
Yep.
Teachers are in training or they've already started. We're in the very front end of the mix of the first 6 weeks of school.
Yes.
So I always enjoy that period. You know that. This is kind of my favorite time of the year. And I think the thing that excites me the most is that during the summer in particular, we're all on kind of our own unique schedules. Mm-hmm. And you do have some holidays throughout the year where everyone's schedules sync together, but that doesn't mean they come to church,
right? Because
those are around holidays, and sometimes that takes them to another church where family is.
Right.
But the start of school is just one of those unique times where all of our calendars are in sync, and it seems like we have that perfect Sunday where everyone shows up.
Yes.
And we get started. So
it's like back to church Sunday.
Almost. That's what we should call it.
I think it's already taken, but yeah, let's
do it.
Okay,
we're not going to do that. Instead, what we're calling it is Launch Sunday, and it's in two Sundays from now. It's August 25th. It'll be a day where in our church, our children and youth ministries, they'll be promoting to the next grades. And we'll also have a time where we recognize our educators in our worship service. We have a special gift that we like to give them, and then spend time praying over them and getting them ready for what is an important semester. And then we'll also start a new series, and I'm excited about that and the opportunity for us to kind of move forward and get things going.
I'm excited about it. I like everybody being back. It's nice to see everybody, hear the stories from the summer, and just get to be with everybody again.
Right. It takes a while, really, for all those events to kind of come together. I know we have a Wednesday night launch, in 2 weeks? Where we have our children and youth ministries gather for sort of a block party on the north parking lot. All the leadership, we introduce the theme. What else goes on there?
Games, food. It's kind of like Lunch Sunday. It's getting back together, seeing everybody, and getting to know your leaders and things like that again. Okay.
And then our theme this fall is?
Inside Out. We're looking at the Sermon on the Mount.
Okay. It's a great theme. I know that I'm excited about those studies and the opportunity we have to kind of jump into that through those two particular ministries. Our choir starts meeting back together. Last week I met with Jenny, and we already started talking about what we're going to be doing for Christmas season. Right up your alley.
Yeah, or Advent, yeah.
During the Advent season.
Yeah.
And so we're just a lot of things to look forward to and kind of get things going through our system. So anyways, glad you're back. Glad everyone else is back. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Well, this past Sunday, you and Stacy were where?
This past Sunday we were in Milwaukee still, and we're getting ready to head towards Kansas.
Okay. You were making your trek back from this baseball excursion that we were able to send you guys on. And back home, we finished up our summer series on Galatians. It was Galatians chapter 5. And it was another good passage for us, as Paul kind of, you sense that his frustration with them had kind of peaked. He was no longer pastorly in the way he approached them, but really a little bit more confrontive or really just drawing a line in the sand. saying you've got to either land here or here with your faith, and that's not where we started. But somehow a lot of you have veered away, and it's time for us to kind of understand better where we stand and how we're going to move forward.
Galatians kind of is like, it intensifies as it goes on, but it's almost like you can see Paul sitting there writing, and he's just kind of making himself a little bit angrier or more frustrated as he's writing. And so then his writing gets a little bit more intense as he goes along.
Well, the way I described it Sunday, those verses, I think it's 7 through 9 in chapter 5, he goes on a bit of almost a rant. And the reason I call it a rant is he looked at faith and tried to draw this line in the sand for them with 3 different analogies, like right in a row. And the one I started with was the running the race. He just said, why are you letting people cut in on you as you run this race? And running was a part of his storyline and how he described faith in other places. So it made a lot of sense. It was real clear for us, having the advantage of those other times when he used that. That's the same kind of story, but. You could sense that. Like, I think you're right that, particularly in those verses, you see just sort of he's just coming off with the anger. Maybe a little bit is coming out in that, but it's just boom, 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 real rapid fire. Right. So they did find he had the opportunity to say what he needed to say to them to kind of get things going back again, and it's been a good study for us. Right.
Well, and there's an intensity there because he knows this is his opportunity to say what he needs to say, because he's not going to necessarily be at all the church, because that was a region. Right. So he's not going to be able to go church to church to encourage them, to help them move along their faith. This is his one shot, and he's taking that one shot.
Well, and none of the letters where you find real affirming, because he's really trying to bring some kind of correction or information to the people that he had been with prior, where things had kind of gotten off track. Right. But that's going to be the nature of his time with them, or his accountability with them. But anyways, it's been a good summer for us, and a good time to study a book together. And now we turn a corner and head into a couple of series that are going to be important for the life of our church as we move forward.
Right. This is our launch series coming up.
Right. The launch series is going to be called All In. And I'm just, even though we've been putting the pieces of that together for some time now, really since late spring, we're still kind of trying to narrow down the exact stories we're going to use, but we're going to use some Old Testament stories of characters that really speak loudly into the idea of coming to that place in our faith life where there's no turning back. Right. And so we're looking forward to developing that one. That series is going to start on the 25th. This Sunday, we're taking a different passage and just using the story of the paralytic that was lowered through the roof in order to meet Jesus. And so kind of setting up really for a church and for our ministry what we want to see happen as we move through the fall semester, because we realize that there's times when there's peak times for the church to reach others, to reach out, and this season, for whatever reason, is one of those times where church can do that at its best. And so we have the opportunity to really look at the experience of others and see to what extent they went to include someone else in what God was doing.
Fun fact, that is Stacy's favorite story. She loves that story.
We should have asked her to tell it on Sunday.
She would have said no, but and I won't say no for her, but she would have. But she loves that story for whatever reason. It resonates with her. The imagery that's there, and then we studied it a while back in I don't know if it was for children's camp or for youth, but it talked about how it possibly could have been Jesus' house that they were digging through the roof of. And so even more intense that they're not just digging through a house's roof, it's Jesus' house's roof. So there's so many things to that, and then the love they have for their friend.
Well, one of the things that we're guilty of when we read a text is that our eyes run across the page and we hear the story and we understand the story without really entering into what the experience might have been. Right. But, that's bound to have been a chaotic moment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you face some distractions when you're teaching students.
Right.
And, something happens in the room where everything is attracted towards what's happening in the room and not what you're saying.
Yeah, imagine if that was like dirt falling from the roof. All of a sudden, everybody's going, wait, where do we need to
And
be?
ultimately, the roof caving in on you and someone coming through the roof. That's quite a presentation.
And we used, I know we used it at children's camp, but we used an illustration of having sleeping bags, and the kids were racing, carrying friends across in these sleeping bags, each holding a quarter, and 4 kids carrying 1 kid. And that even brings a little bit more to the side of it, what effort they exerted just to get a person up on the roof.
So you're helping me out here, Teak, because I'm not completely finished with that message.
Well,
for
we
Sunday.
have 2 aisles in the worship center. I'm picturing
So-
first floor against second floor. Let's race them to the back and front.
That's what happens when you let a youth minister plan worship on Sunday. But hey, I'm not saying it's
I've been gone for 3 weeks. Are we not to that point?
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think it's possibly a very good idea.
Okay,
but we may never know.
I call Lisa gets to do it.
I sure hope that we don't get to lunch on Sunday and regret that we didn't do that, though.
I thought you said it's still a possibility.
Well, see, because what I'm saying is that, a lot of times I will evaluate by asking this question. Is it a bad idea if we do what you said? Anyways,
yeah.
more intrigue. This may be the big Sunday. It may.
People are going to be here just because, will they have a
fact-
sleeping bag?
Yeah, if you walk through Sunday morning and are welcomed with a sleeping bag,
No.
you might want to rethink the rest of your morning. But no, it's going to be a great passage for us. And the idea is, we've been talking about, I think the way I use the phrase is +1. Not just thinking about our own faith and developing our own faith life, which is a big part of what we want to do in church, but to think about our life plus someone else.
Right.
And that someone else could be someone in your own family, someone in your neighborhood, or someone that you know at work or school. But there ought to be someone and that God has placed strategically in our life for us to pour into and to ultimately help them to come to a faith life journey and maybe even a faith life journey here with us.
Right. Yeah, you've used the empty chair idea also before, and that helps, especially with students, that visual of there's always a place for someone else, and who's that person in your life that needs to be filling that chair.
Right. In fact, that's where, when all this started and we started sequencing the messages, that was the one I was going to use. And then, but I was at kids camp, and we were using those same texts at kids camp, and so I thought, well, I don't want to be too repetitive for our folks, and started looking around, and then came up with this passage and story for Sunday. And ironically enough, we've never taught this story before.
Nice.
So it'll be a first time for me to teach that here, and so it'll be fun as we kind of develop that.
Cool.
So, and by the way, if you have any other ideas besides Teak's sleeping bag idea, you might just leave a post for us, and we'll consider it.
If you want to encourage us to do Teak's sleeping bag idea, go ahead and post here, and we'll just let it be a Facebook poll.
That sounds like it could be controversial. We don't want to create a problem here, Teak.
I mean,
and I turn my outlines in no later than 10 o'clock on Thursdays. So
you got 24 hours to say it's a good idea.
We've got to know quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're not just going to decide this on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Unless you hijack the whole thing.
I have 2 sleeping bags. I'm ready to go.
There you go. We're prepared. We're prepared. You might say we're prepared for anything. Yeah. And last Sunday was an example of that.
Apparently.
Oh, last Sunday was interesting. But we got here, and the air conditioner had shut off.
Not we. It was like 70 degrees where I was.
Yeah, and we hate you. But anyways, it was touch and go, and somehow we got it back going, and we're going strong for Sunday.
Yep, it's going. We will have air this Sunday.
A lot of AC issues this week, but hey, it's been triple digits outside. It happens.
Today it's beautiful, though. I mean, there's cloudy, overcast skies. We got doors open. It feels good.
Yeah, it does feel really good. But anyways, glad you are back with us. We look forward to everyone out there being back with us. And we meet at 10:30 on Sunday mornings at 213 East 3rd. And don't just come by yourself, but bring a friend with you. And we look forward to worshiping together. I'll see you Sunday, Teak.
See you then.